This is Up for Debate presents Scary Movies to Watch in the Dark. Tonight, episode number 164, recorded November 6th, 2019. Chapter 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Up for Debate presents. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by the man who certainly haunts my nightmares. It's Mr. Matt Mariani. Hello, Matt.
How's it going, Sean? How are you doing this evening?
Matt, it's amazing to me how seamlessly we went right from Scaretober right into Spookvember.
Yeah. How was your Halloween?
Not scary at all. Not scary. It was
Really?
downright pleasant.
Well, I'll have you know that Northern Virginia was under a tornado watch for most of this Halloween. So my Halloween was a little bit unintentionally scary. Scary for all the wrong reasons.
To be fair, though, you might be mixing up the concepts of scary and windy.
Going outside and seeing like a windy, childless street on Halloween, it's a little unsettling.
And then all of a sudden you just hear, kill, mama, kill, mama. Huh? What? Who's that? Who's there?
Sean, is that you? Is that you, Sean?
Blades scraping along the metal.
Yeah. Well, I to pass the time in this spooky Halloween night, I went out to my local Target and I bought Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Nintendo Switch. And I have to say it's been a pretty great game. I highly recommend it. If you get a chance, very, very spooky, very silly and fun.
Very nice. I'm a big Luigi supporter.
Yeah. I think he totally deserves his own games.
He's a good dude. He's my Mario Party guy.
There's lots of critics out there that, are ready to dump on my man Luigi.
Who says Mario's so great?
I don't know. I think that Luigi, he would probably be so much more without Mario. I think Mario's holding him back.
You know what?
I'm
Damn
being
straight.
perfectly honest.
Damn straight.
I think he needs a little bit of distance from Mario is a good thing.
It's like, oh, look at my brother, the doctor. Dr. Mario over here. Oh, look at how great he is.
Star tennis player.
Oh, he's throwing all these parties. Oh, look at how great he is.
Everybody wants to go to his party.
I mean, Luigi owns a mansion, but you don't hear anyone talking about that.
Well, technically, he doesn't own. Well, actually, yeah, you're right. He does because he wins it in a contest.
Does he? Is that the?
That's the plot. It's the plot of the beginning. But it's all a ploy by King Boo, who's lured him there. I think that's how it goes.
That's awesome. I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, it's been so long since I played the first one, but this one's great. This one he's in a hotel, a spooky haunted hotel that he again receives a mysterious note and wins an all expense paid trip to the contest. But you get to see how desperate Luigi is for attracting friends, because I think even like if you watch the opening cutscene, even he deep down, I think he knows that this is a trap, but he has all the rest of the gang so excited about it, like Mario and Peach, and their two Toad friends, like one blue Toad and one yellow Toad. Don't ask me where Red Toad is, but I guess he didn't get an invite. Maybe he's the one that they secretly don't like. I don't know, but I don't think Yoshi's there. But anyway, that crew, they all get in. Yeah, they go on this all expense paid trip to this haunted hotel. I think even Luigi deep down knows what's going on. But you know what? Luigi wants to feel like the boss. He goes up to the counter and checks in, and he won the contest. He's feeling good. Poor Luigi. That just shows you how desperate he is for everyone else's approval. And it's because he's been under Mario's boot for so long.
I love the first sentence of the plot section of Luigi's Mansion on Wikipedia, which reads, Luigi is notified he has won a mansion in a contest he did not enter. Nope. You're going to want to leave that one alone.
Should have left that one in the inbox.
I know that happens to me all the time. Hey, Sean, guess what? You won a house. You didn't enter to win it, but you won it.
You should have dragged that one to spam, Luigi. Whoops
Is right. Matt, we have got...
But speaking of nightmares...
Yes, we have done 2 scary movies so far. We're on to our third. We are moving ahead all the way to the great year 1984, which is pretty neat because a lot of famous cinema happened in 1984. Arguably one of the most famous years for films. Can you name some of the films that came out in 1984?
Oh gosh, you got me on the spot here.
I'm just kidding. Would you like me to tell you?
No. I bet I could
Let's
probably
see.
name
Here
one
we
or
go,
two.
Matt. How many of the top 10 highest-grossing films of 1984 can you name?
All right. Well, first, was Raiders? No, maybe not. Raiders?
No, got to go forward a bit.
Damn it. Raiders was 81.
Yeah.
Not Return. Return was 83.
Right.
The Jedi.
Yeah, you got to come forward a
Right?
bit.
Damn. Jaws?
No, Jaws was way earlier.
That's what I thought. That's totally what it's like.
I mean, I will tell you, it wasn't obviously in the top 10, but the best film Academy Award went to Amadeus.
Oh, love that movie.
Yeah.
Love Amadeus.
But it was not in the top 10.
Aliens?
No.
Okay. No, Aliens was a little later. Aliens was 86. So now I overshot it. All right, I'm going to do one more guess. The Goonies.
No, Matt, you don't know when anything is.
No, but I don't get paid to know when things are. So.
Here we go. Top 10 highest grossing movies of
There you
1984,
go.
beginning with number 10, Tom Hanks in Splash.
Nope,
Then
would have never guessed that.
Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
Oh, God, that movie... That movie messed with my mind, man.
It was the number 9 that year. Number 8, Romancing the Stone. Number 7, Footloose. Number 6, Police Academy. Number 5,
These are all Sean movies.
The Karate Kid. Number 4, Gremlins. Number 3, Ghostbusters. Number 2, Beverly Hills Cop. And number 1, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. All right. I could have got Temple of Doom, but
you could have, but you didn't.
So,
but you didn't.
That's quite a year for movies.
Also released that year, by the way, Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, which was the 4th installment in the franchise.
Was it really the final chapter, though?
Not even close. Not even close. So anyway, there you go, a little movie trivia for you. But yes, 1984, big year. It also included the film we're talking about tonight, Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Matt, we both watched the movie for this evening's show. Where would you like to start on this? You want to do a little background? You want to talk about the movie?
I think it's this. You know what? This is your movie. I think it's your pick.
Well, we can talk a little bit about our good friend Wes Craven, known these days as the master of horror. Probably his most successful work is arguably this movie, I would say, but also, of course, behind Scream, which actually we're going to watch next week, which will be fun. But also The Hills Have Eyes, Swamp Thing, Vampires in Brooklyn, a number of other very successful movies, obviously Scream 2, Scream 3. He didn't do the sequel to Nightmare on Elm Street, but he did come back for Nightmare on Elm Street 3. The sort of origin of this movie, based on, and this is all true, several newspaper articles printed in the Los Angeles Times in the 1970s about Southeast Asian refugees who, after fleeing to the United States because of war and genocide, suffered disturbing nightmares and refused to sleep. Some of the men died in their sleep soon afterward. They called the phenomenon a name I don't think would be very politically correct today, Asian Death Syndrome.
Wow, that's the worst thing to call that.
First of all, it sounds like you contracted Asian and died from it. You know what I mean?
That is the worst possible name I can think of for what is going on there.
It was believed to be either sudden unexplained death syndrome, which is also a thing, or Brugada syndrome, a genetic disorder in which the electrical activity within the heart is abnormal. Craven is quoted as saying, "It was a series of articles in the LA Times, 3 small articles about men from Southeast Asia who were from immigrant families and died in the middle of nightmares." Another interesting, and this might sound familiar after I say it, the 1970s pop song Dreamweaver by Gary Wright also gave Craven some inspiration, not only in terms of the dreams, but also the synthesizer-heavy soundtrack. If you listen to parts of the movie, he literally ripped off Dreamweaver. I'm surprised Gary Wright never sued him for that.
So he ripped off another movie?
No,
Like,
he ripped off
entirely?
the song Dreamweaver.
Oh, the song.
Dreamweaver. You know that one?
Of course.
Yes, and the synth in the movie is extremely identical to Dreamweaver.
And it makes sense given the plot,
Right.
the context of the movie.
Yes. One other piece of background here. The film's villain, Freddy Krueger, is drawn from Craven's early life. One night, a young Craven saw an elderly man walking on the side path outside the window of his home. The man stopped to glance at Craven and walked off. This served as the inspiration for Krueger. Not a great story, but apparently it did.
Was the man wearing a fedora?
It doesn't say in this Wikipedia article, believe it or not. Do you know where the name Freddy Krueger comes from?
Is it a hockey player? So that's the guess I'm going to make. It sounds
It's a
like it should
great
be a hockey
name.
player.
Great name for a hockey player.
Right? Isn't it?
No. Believe it or not, and can you imagine if this was your honor, Wes Craven was bullied at school by a child named Fred Krueger. So there's an actual guy somewhere named Fred Krueger.
Wow. Yeah, and it was his childhood bully.
Yes.
It's a solid name for the
Would you be
for the
honored?
villain?
Would you be honored if like there was a famous horror movie whose like child murdering hell villain was named Matt Mariani?
That doesn't really sound like a child. That sounds more like a guy that would be making pasta or something.
A guy with making pasta.
Like, I don't think that sounds
Chef
very
Matt
intimidating.
Mariani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a guy who honestly I think should own like a chain of Italian restaurants. That would be my son Giovanni.
I'd buy
Giovanni
spaghetti sauce
Mariani.
from that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Craven chose to make Krueger's sweater red and green after an article in 1982's Scientific American that said those two colors were the most clashing colors to the human retina. Did you know that?
What colors?
Red and green.
Oh, so red and green being in combination?
Yes.
Those are the two that clash the most?
According to a 1982 Scientific American article.
I believe that. I believe that.
Go figure.
I would have thought red and blue. 'Cause those are on the polar ends of the spectrum.
That's true. And, red and green are Christmas colors.
Well, red is a primary color, right? And green is not. So maybe that could have something to do with it
isn't
too. Who knows?
Oh, see, I always mix up RGB with...
Green is not a primary color, right?
I know, but...
What two colors make green? Blue and yellow, right? Blue and yellow make green?
I've never been good at this.
We're going back to first grade, Sean.
Red, yellow, blue are the primary colors.
Right. Red and yellow make green. Red and blue make purple.
Wikipedia.
And what did blue and yellow make?
Primary colors.
Oh, God. Blue and yellow make orange? No, that doesn't make sense. Damn it. Red and yellow make orange. Blue and yellow make green. Red and blue make purple. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
First and foremost, the primary colors, yellow, red, and blue, are at the top of any color structure, says this article. Secondary colors, orange, purple, green. Yellow and red make orange, red and blue make purple, blue and yellow make green.
Mix them all together, it makes a mess.
Oh, it sure does.
Oh.
That's all the interesting facts I have about Nightmare on Elm Street for the moment. There might be a few dumped in throughout, but...
What did you think of this movie overall?
I enjoyed it. I will say, so far, we've now watched 3 movies. This is the first one, I wouldn't say I was terrified at, but I was tense and somewhat scared during. This was the first one to actually sort of get me scared. Mainly because such crazy stuff kept happening, I did not know what was going to happen next.
I think that's the whole trick with the movie, isn't it?
It's a special effects movie.
It gets you to question what's real and what's not.
There's no plot to this movie. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie with such little plot.
No, things just happen.
I was shocked.
It's about things happening.
The first murder is like 10 minutes into the movie. There's no setup. Like, you don't even... quiz me on who the characters' names are. I don't even know. It's like there's the one who's a greaser for some reason, and then there's Johnny Depp. And then there's the one who survives at the end. Like, there's no establishing of these characters or the world they live in.
Yeah, but I think that's the point, though. The whole point is that things just keep happening to these poor people, and you're kind of left. It's more to try to trick you into believing that you're in a dream, or are you not in a dream, or you think it's real, but it's actually you're still in a dream.
Yeah.
And you're going to die. I didn't see this movie. This is one of the ones that I definitely had never watched until this point. I know that's kind of surprising because it's easily one of the more famous of our list.
Sure.
I had just never gotten around to seeing it. I thought it was really, really good. I did not like Freddy Krueger, however. As a matter of fact, if I were making this movie, I would just not have him in the movie at all. I would just have these people die in like various horrific ways, and maybe at the end have some kind of like ghost monster that is behind it all, like kind of like a poltergeist type movie. But I don't think I would have the Freddy Krueger. I didn't like this fedora. I thought his fedora looked kind of dumb. Every time I saw him, I thought he was kind of silly.
Yeah, the designs aren't great on Freddy Krueger. It's one of those things where it's like, so we don't learn until like an hour into the movie who Freddy Krueger is, who the villain is, and we learn, of course, the totally common story of a child murderer who uses a knife claw to kidnap and kill children, is in what has to be one of the craziest abuses of our legal system, is let off the hook because of a missing signature on a search warrant, which I don't think is a thing.
No.
Call me crazy, but it's like, he murdered 20 children. I don't think they would just let him go. I'm sure they could get him on some other kind of charge. But anyway, he just walks free. A bunch of the parents in the town say, we're not going to stand for this. And rather than just kill him, which would be probably easy with 20 of them, one of them being a police officer that we know of, they go to his lair, which is in like an oil refinery or a boiler room, or I don't know where that was. And they pour a bunch of gasoline, they light it on fire, and they burn him alive. Now, my question is, he must have died wearing those clothes, right? So I'm cool with the glove hand. But you're telling me he casually wore around a red and green striped sweater, a fedora, and just like work pants and work boots.
Right.
That's confusing.
Yeah, this is exactly why I didn't like it. I don't like the design. I think I wrote down that it seemed to me that when Wes Craven made this movie, he was just like he had the vision of the kids will dress up like this on Halloween, and it'll be a popular Halloween costume for years and years to come. Mm-hmm. I know he didn't have that vision, but it's just what it seems like, just based on the design of this character. It's like, it's very famous. It's become very iconic, but I was not crazy about the way he looked. But I guess it's not really what it's about. There are a couple of other things that this movie's about.
I do like, though, the burned aspect. If we're talking about the presentation of the character, at this time in cinema, it was really all about the mask.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that they went with the burn, which is something they did specifically, as a way to make him look screwed up without covering his face up. So I appreciated that. The issue is for me with Freddy Krueger in this movie is, we kind of have hindsight where we know what happens in the next zillion Nightmare movies. He gets a personality in the later movies, including that famous catchphrase thing that Jesse Pinkman later ended up doing on Breaking Bad, where he would just say something and then throw a bitch at the end. Including, by the way, such great lines, and these are actual Freddy lines from later movies, but welcome to my world, bitch, and also kung fu this, bitch, and welcome to prime time, bitch. I should stop saying bitch, but anyway, you get the idea. He has a lot more personality. In this movie, he's like, I agree with you, there either needs to be less or more, because he's right in the middle. I need him either to be like stranger and more opaque, or I need him to have more personality.
Yeah. Yeah, he enters some sort of weird middle ground that
he barely talks in the movie.
No, that's true. I was going to say I can't even recall him having more than like one instance of
it was all one-liners.
Dialogue.
It was all one-liners.
Yeah.
There was no exposition.
Yeah. I was glad that they resisted the temptation of like every time he kills someone, he has to make some kind of snarky James Bond-esque quip. That was good. At least for this one, I haven't seen.
I was going to say that comes back in the later movies.
I'm sure they do,
yeah.
But yeah, I can't really say. I did like the acting on the side of the people who got murdered. The murder victims.
They were better than the Friday the 13th kids.
Yeah, they did a pretty solid. They sold it. They sold it a lot better in many different ways. Even though who could even really remember their names? I guess that wasn't really what it was about.
How many of their names can you remember? I mean, I'm cheating because I have a list.
Off the top of my head.
So who's the first girl to get murdered?
Tina is one of the girls.
Okay, that's the first one.
Tina.
Where she's with her greaser boyfriend in the 80s for some reason, with the slick back hair and the leather jacket. And I think at one point he gives a up your nose with a rubber hose type joke as he leaves. It was very weird. And what's his name? The boyfriend's name, who gets accused of the murder and later gets killed in jail.
Is his name Greg?
No, not even close. Not even within a million miles.
That was just a wild guess. Greg the Greaser.
No, Rod Lane.
Did they say his name?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Okay.
And then, of course, Johnny Depp's character, as the screen says, introducing Johnny Depp.
That's right. This was kind of his first...
his first movie.
Major motion picture, yeah.
Absolutely. He played Glenn Lance. And, of course, the hero of the movie, Nancy Thompson.
Right.
Heather Langenkamp.
I honestly cannot remember anybody else.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. That's the point. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Yeah, so any particular place you want to start in the movie? We just talk about people getting straight up murdered?
Yeah. I mean, this is something that happens a lot. Do you have a favorite murder in this movie?
Oh, absolutely. One stands out far above the rest for me.
Okay.
And do you have one that stands out?
I'm going to see if ours is the same.
Okay. Mine.
So
yeah.
Yeah, you go first.
Mine is unequivocally, and this is one I had actually seen the clip of without ever having seen the movie, so I knew it was in there, and I was very excited. It has got to be Johnny Depp getting sucked into the bed, and that enormous that stupidly large geyser of blood shooting out of the bed, for me, is my favorite kill in the movie. Not that many people die in this movie.
No, it's all about the build-up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of build-up.
It's about stalking and fighting more so.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nancy goes hand-to-hand with Freddy Krueger like 5 times in the movie. Why he doesn't just kill her, I don't understand, because he keeps letting her get away. But not many people die.
I thought it was kind of... it bothered me that when the people die in the nightmares, I get them dying in real life. Like that wouldn't really have bothered me so much, but it's they're covered in blood and they have like all these things like how they die in the dream. I think shouldn't really have any bearing on how they die in reality. They should just be dead and nobody knows why.
No, because
that's
not very good for a movie. I mean,
but that doesn't make any. It just doesn't make any sense because it's like it's a dream. It's not real.
That part doesn't bother me as much though as the wildly inconsistent rules Freddy plays by. Because it's like, okay, I get it. Freddy controls the dreams. If he murders you in your dreams, you die in real life. Some of it carries over into the physical world. I'm willing to let him have that. Okay, like when the blouse has the cut marks in it. Like, it's a movie. I'm gonna let some of that slide. But then at one point, like, Nancy's phone rings and she picks it up and it's Freddy Krueger. She's not even sleeping. Her phone just rings. And he can just call people now? That was it was little things like that really, it was like, is she dreaming? Isn't she dreaming? I guess that was maybe on purpose in the movie, but he's got to play by the rules.
I don't know. Maybe Freddy Krueger is like an agent in the Matrix.
Oh.
You can like go through the phone lines and stuff.
Well, and that's why when Nancy was like, I'm going to bring him into the real world, I'm like, don't do that. Leave him in the dreams.
Yeah. That was a mistake.
It's a bad idea.
That was a mistake.
Like, if you can kill his ass in the real world, I'm sure you can kill his ass in the dream. He's definitely not able to kill you, so... Anyway.
Did you like when they like booby trapped the house?
When it was Home Alone,
Home Alone style. Yeah.
Although what I also wrote, I actually did write that. I said it's Home Alone, but then I also wrote or Skyfall.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes, no, that was stupid. But it's also amazing that this came out before Home Alone. So I'm like,
yeah,
where'd that idea come from?
Precedes Home Alone.
Honestly, I didn't have a problem that she did that. The problem I had, and again, this is just me being a nitpicky movie watcher, is she's like, she calls her father, the police lieutenant, and says, you have to break down the door in exactly 20 minutes. And then she like sets up all these booby traps that would take way more than 20 minutes to set up. The movie supposits she does it in 0 amount of time, which is weird.
There's a lot of movie magic here. She doesn't even have time to make herself a nice mac and cheese dinner.
No, but
Kevin,
she does have time to have a full brewed pot of coffee running under her bed that she pulls out. And I'm like, girl, you have a problem.
Yeah.
You are not okay with those like very clearly labeled like no sleep, no dose pills that she's just popping.
I guess that was a lot more wholesome than her like doing crack cocaine or something.
Oh, here the pill bottle just says amphetamines.
Amphetamines.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sure. That's legit. Hey, it was the 80s, man. It's the Reagan eras. And anything went.
Yep. Gotta have those greens. Wow. That's that's really all I have for the plot of the movie. I kind of like the ending.
Okay, we have got to talk about the ending.
Yeah, we could talk about. I kind of enjoyed the ending.
First of all, it was bizarre and weird.
That's what I liked about it,
and I hated it.
It was like a surreal ending.
No,
I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it at all. But it was. I liked it. It was good.
We talked about this with The Exorcist and the ending they cut. Thank goodness. We talked about it with Friday the 13th and the weird Jason coming back ending. And it's, believe it or not, it's similar with this movie where, and this is true, Craven originally planned for the film to have a more evocative ending. Nancy kills Krueger by ceasing to believe in him and then awakens to discover that everything that happened in the film was an elongated nightmare. However, the head of the studio demanded a twist ending in which Krueger disappears and all seems to have been a dream, only for the audience to discover it was a dream within a dream within a dream. They actually shot different endings, and on some of the DVDs and Blu-rays they actually have the alternate endings, believe it or not.
I don't know.
I
thought it was good.
I hated it because I'm like, pick a lane, right? Pick a lane, because either Freddy wins or he doesn't, and this sort of like unclearness where at first I was like, if the movie stopped after her mother gets sucked into hell, I'm like, okay, I can accept that ending. Then it's like this sort of like weird, foggy, like her mother's like, you know what? I think I'm going to quit drinking. You know, it's like that weird, like it's kind of a dream. And there, leave me guessing. Was it all a dream? Was it a dream? But then they have like the Freddy Krueger car thing come up and they're all screaming. It's like, and they don't die. I'm like, I don't know where to go with this.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool because it was like always keep them guessing kind of thing. Like we mentioned with the other horror movies where it's the ending that you really don't expect and it keeps like changing. Only I thought this one was just done better. I'm trying to look at the is there like I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. That's my favorite quote from the movie.
Boyfriend now. And then isn't
like
that
one
when
of the few things
the
he
phone
says.
sticks the tongue comes out of the phone?
Right. That was my favorite part in the whole movie.
That was good. The movie had great effects. Look, it was a special effects movie. Let's get real.
Great.
No, here's a quote from Wes Craven on the ending of the movie. The original ending of the script has Nancy come out the door. It's an unusually cloudy and foggy day. A car pulls up with her dead friends in it. She's startled. She goes out and gets in the car wondering what the hell is going on, and they drive off into the fog with the mother left standing on the doorstep, and that's it. It is very brief and suggestive that maybe life is sort of dreamlike too. Shay, who was the head of New Line Cinema, wanted Freddy Krueger to be driving the car and have the kids screaming. It all became very negative. I felt a philosophical tension to my ending. Shane said, that's so 60s, it's stupid. I refused to have Freddy in the driver's seat, and we thought up about 5 different endings. And this is my favorite part. The one we used, with Freddy pulling the mother through the doorway, amused us all so much we couldn't not use it. So the only reason they picked that ending was because they liked that effect shot of her getting pulled in through the window.
Yeah, because that was fun.
It was fun, but it didn't make for a good ending.
Well, how would you have ended this movie?
Like I would have ended it. Look, I like when these movies end on down notes. I wanted when her mother and Freddy go through the bed into hell and he's defeated and she's just standing there like, what the hell just went on? What did I just witness? And the movie just ends there. And just leave us like, did she win? Didn't she win? I don't know.
So you wanted it a little more ambiguous?
No, because the existing ending is ambiguous. The problem I have is then put Freddy in the front seat of the car. Like, at least give me something, because just to have the top come up and have it lock, it's like, what does that even mean?
It's supposed to be like you can't tell if it's a dream or if it's reality or if they've defeated Freddy or if they haven't.
The whole throughout the entire movie, right? At no point do they play with the like cinema trick of we as the viewer not knowing if it's a dream or not, right? At every point in the movie before the ending, we know whether or not it is a dream or not. Because the movie does a good job of telling us that, right? Would you agree?
Yeah. It
doesn't play with reality like that. We know when she's asleep and we know when she's not. But at the end, they totally throw that out the window. And that is frustrating to me. Because it's like, if you're going to say this movie really happened in reality, then don't throw it all away for a fun effects ending. That's what bothered me about the ending. So, there you go.
All right. I guess I kind of disagree.
That's okay.
It's not my favorite ending of all the horror movies we're going to talk about, but I thought it was superior to the Exorcist ending, because that one just kind of ends. There's no. I mean, there's a solid resolution. See, I like that for every other genre, but horror. I think that I don't mind but even the loose ends for horror. I guess it's why I'm a Stephen King fan. Like, there's the famous stereotype that he doesn't know how to end any of his own stories. Like he can only really write a story, a beginning and a middle, and the end is like always crappy. But I don't mind that in horror because it's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, but even in Friday the 13th, right? When she gets attacked by Jason in the lake, and then it cuts to her in the hospital, and we're supposed to believe that maybe Jason attacked her, maybe he didn't attack her, maybe she imagined it, maybe she didn't. Even I'm okay with that, because it's not a movie. The whole movie, it's like it is based in reality until that one moment, and you're like, all right, maybe she's gone so crazy she imagined it. Like, you buy that. But in this movie, they play so, the whole movie is supposed to be dream, not dream, dream, not dream, and they're so clear about it. And then at the end to be like, fuck it, we don't know. We don't know. Is it real? Is it not real? I don't know. Is Freddy gone? Is he not gone? I don't know. That to me, it felt like a movie leading to a final ending we never got. But I respect your point. And this is very much a classic slasher horror movie in the way it chose to pick its ending. I get that.
Yeah. I want to talk about the themes, just to switch gears a little bit.
Yes, please, let's.
I think that I sort of identified two major themes in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is kind of, the first one's kind of a repeat. The second one is not. The second one is something new that I'm kind of excited to talk about. But theme number one, it's once again a lot of dealing with adolescence, dealing with like hormones, teenagers, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much recurrent of what we saw with Friday the 13th. There's a lot of social misconduct, social anxiety and stuff like that going on between the all of the teens in this movie. So we see that trope recurring again here, especially with the way that people die, or especially you think the girl in the bathtub, you think the girl, like the one being chased around and things like that. It's kind of like these teens being isolated and then preyed upon, mm-hmm. is pretty much what's going on by an outside powerful force. So that's something you see it in Friday the 13th. We talked about it really kind of enough last time. The second theme, though, that is pretty interesting. There's a lot of I think a lot of really pro-female empowerment kind of stuff going on here.
I wrote that down. Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of the idea that the female characters in this movie can take the power back that is oppressing them in a way. Like, that seems to be the message of the movie. If there's a underlying message here, which I thought was kind of cool. It's a lot of it is big. There's a quote that one of the critics of the movie said that at first glance, Nightmare is a pro-feminist movie, but I look at it more as a youth power film. So I don't know. What's your take on that?
I strongly agree with the feminist angle. That's what I wrote. Strong female lead. I think it's great. I think in so many of these horror movies, yes, it's usually a woman who survives to the end of the movie. But usually we saw some Friday the 13th. She's a victim until the last frame of the movie.
Sure.
At no point does she fight back in a way that makes her the hero. We see that in later, as we move in the 90s and the 2000s, it's sort of changed. But at this time, I think it's really fantastic to see the lead character in the movie, as goofy as it seemed, to make the booby traps and things like that, to actually take the initiative when everyone around her has failed her, especially the adults, which is obviously another interesting perspective on the movie, how the children are smarter and more responsible than the adults in this movie. Every adult we see in this movie is a fuck-up, essentially.
Yeah.
I've got to watch my language. But you get the idea.
Well, that's exactly the way that I would have put it, too. A lot of them, alcoholics, they're addicted to pills and stuff like that. They're not really present.
And they're all murderers. They also all killed Freddy Krueger.
They're afflicted. Yeah, they're all afflicted by their own hang-ups, whatever those things are, addiction and illnesses and stuff like that. It is the young ones, the new generation that's kind of there to bail them out.
Right.
Which was pretty interesting.
And they're able to do what the parents were not and, kill Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah, they're able to succeed where they all had failed. I thought it was interesting how that one of my favorite scenes in the movie was the conversation between the young girl, basically the film's main character.
Heather.
Is it
Or
Heather?
Nancy. Sorry, Heather played Nancy.
Right. Nancy and her dad, who's the cop.
Lieutenant Donald.
Their conversation about how like he wants to put Freddy away once and for all. He wants to like find this person that did this to her and arrest him, and he's all like really like all upset, and she's like, no, he comes to me in my dreams. I have to handle this. I have to find a way to defeat him. So,
and I thought some of the scenes she acted with her mother in the movie as well were quite powerful when she's sort of confronting her about what she had done in the past. Talking about, smashing the alcohol bottle on the ground. I thought some of those were really compelling.
Yeah. Definitely. A lot of it is like it's the children kind of leading the way. Is I guess even a third theme you could say. You could say it's the adolescent situation for the first theme, them being preyed upon by outside forces, much like Friday the 13th. The second theme being the feminism and the strength of the female lead. And then the third theme, you also have this like youth empowerment factor as well. So, as far as themes go, I guess this is kind of the deepest one besides Exorcist. I thought Exorcist was deeper.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
it's definitely got
Exorcist. You could write novels, let alone essays on The Exorcist. So I really hate that fedora. I really hate that fedora.
It's the combination, though, because look, I get that your character has to have some kind of signature look, right? Like Jason has his hockey mask, and you have to have something. What I meant.
That's kind of what I meant when I said that they kind of, it looks like they dressed him up to be a future Halloween costume.
Right. But they picked too many things. Like, I think just the fedora would have been okay, or just the glove, or just the sweater. You didn't have to do all of it. Yes. Now, this movie, obviously, we mentioned, was released in 1984. It was made on a budget of about $1.5 million and went on to gross $25 million at the American box office. Interesting fun fact, I won't go into the details of it too much because it's frankly kind of boring, but they had a lot of issues with the financing of the movie. Originally, it had been pitched. Wes Craven had made other movies before, so there were studios interested. Walt Disney was the first studio to show interest, although they wanted it to tone down the content to make it suitable for children and preteens. Wes Craven declined, obviously. Then they went to Paramount Pictures, who passed on it because it was similar to 1984's Dreamscape. And then Universal Studio also passed. So what he did was he went to the fledgling independent New Line Cinema, who at this point had only distributed films, agreed to put up the money to produce it. They ended up going through a bunch of different financiers who came and went throughout. The thing barely got made. But it did launch New Line Cinema, who has now, over history, produced some of the biggest movies ever, including the Lord of the Rings franchise, the Rush Hour franchise, the Austin Powers franchise, among many others. It's often called the house that Freddy built, because of the financial success of the movie helped build New Line Cinema.
Oh.
So, little fun fact there for you.
We're almost approaching on the, I guess it would be the 35th anniversary.
Yes.
Of Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, November 9th, 1984.
Yes.
Was when it premiered to a limited theatrical release. Only 165 cinemas nationwide.
Yep.
Grossed nearly $1.3 million during its opening weekend, considered an instant success.
Went on to, the whole franchise now has 9 films, including, obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Freddy vs. Jason, and the reboot from 2010, A Nightmare on Elm Street. There have also been novels, comic books, and a short-lived TV series.
Is this the first one we've done so far that's not based? Is this a true fact, or am I just making this up? The first one we've done that is not based on a book?
Friday the 13th wasn't based on a book, was it?
No.
Exorcist definitely was. But no,
So
I don't think Friday the 13th.
Instead, that makes The Exorcist the only one we've done so far.
And I think it will be.
I think it will be the only one.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as I know.
I don't think there were a lot of horror movies based on books. That seems like a really broad statement to say, but
I mean, if you count all the Stephen King movies as, I guess not all of them are horror. Well,
I know, but we're kind of, we're using horror pretty broadly, to be honest.
We are.
This is, I think, Nightmare on Elm Street slasher, I think would probably be the better way to say it, a slasher film.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely in that camp.
Yeah, I think if we do another series like this next year, I'd like to kind of differentiate a little bit because there are a lot of great slasher film franchises. Yeah. Like Friday the 13th, I think would fall in that, but there's Halloween, Child's Play, which I would love to do the first Child's Play, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, being another famous one. Certainly a lot have been made over the years. Yeah, Matt, while you were talking about the themes in the movies, I did Google how much it would cost to purchase a Nightmare on Elm Street Laserdisc on eBay. And the answer is more expensive than you'd think. Because I was going to send you one. I said, I'm going to send Matt a Laserdisc. I wonder what he would do with it. But they're kind of pricey.
What would I do with a laser? What would I do with a laser disc?
I mean,
what wouldn't I do with
Matt,
a laser disc?
I can get you a signed, okay, Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger in the movies, signed Laserdisc for $400.
Okay.
Yep. And on it he wrote, "Welcome to primetime, bitch. Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund."
That's funny. I like that.
$400, it's yours.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, it's got a certificate of authenticity and everything. Anyway, I just like it's of that era of movies that was released on Laserdisc.
Yeah, that's definitely a special time.
Yep. What else is there to say about Friday the 13th? I could get into some of how the effects were done, if that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, they created a revolving room set that was used for two murders. The first being young Tina's murder, where she kind of is dragged up the wall and is on the ceiling. It's actually an upside-down room was how they shot that. They used the same rotating room for Johnny Depp's death, where the geyser of blood isn't shooting up. It's actually upside down and being poured out of the hole, downward, towards the ceiling, which is on the ground. The bathtub scene, they actually built a bathtub above a swimming pool, and that's how they were able to drag her down underneath. The melting staircase, where she's stepping through the staircase, it's actually used with pancake mix, was how they were able to do that. And of course, when Freddy gets his hands and face stretching through the wall was made out of spandex.
Ah.
So, one other fun fact, I have to look at it. He's credited as Nick Corsi. His real name is Che Su Garcia, who played Rod in the movie. Was dealing with depression at the time due to recent homelessness, so he was snorting heroin in the bathroom between takes. In 2014, he revealed that he was high on heroin during the scene with I keep wanting to call her the actress's name, with Nancy in the jail, where he's saying, "Hey, I didn't kill her." The actress later said, "His eyes were watery and weren't focused. I thought, wow, he's giving the best performance of his life." But no, he was just really high on heroin.
Oh, Wow. That was definitely the 80s, all right.
It sure was. Yeah, man. I mean, final thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street for you?
Um, Pretty solid movie. I liked the acting in this one much better. Thought the actors were really good. Still not hitting the same notes as Exorcist.
Sure.
To me, The Exorcist is my favorite one so far. I haven't seen our next film yet though, so that'll be a new one to watch as we head into our next week.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely agree with you. I think it's a very good movie. I agree. I think Exorcist is better, but at the same time, I am as someone who grew up in the CGI generation, I'm a sucker for practical effects because I just think they're so cool to look at because we don't get them anymore. And so a movie like this that is so effect driven was fun to watch. And the kills, after seeing the kills in Friday the 13th that were frankly mundane in a lot of ways, to see the kills in this movie, I was like, you slammed the foot, pedal to the floor and you revved up the gas. I mean, it was an exciting movie, even though Freddy Krueger wasn't thrilling in this particular installment of the franchise. I thought overall, it was a good movie. Didn't love the ending, but overall I was very happy. As you mentioned, Matt, we're going back to the Wes Craven for our next movie. He directed our next one, written by Kevin Williamson, who is best known for creating Dawson's Creek, as well as writing our next movie, Scream. David Arquette, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, Matthew Lillard, among others, and introducing Ghostface.
That's right.
I'm very excited about this movie. It's been fun going through the different decades, and now we're entering the 90s, 1996. Definitely a different kind of horror movie.
Yeah, that is something to definitely keep in mind. How the decades change. The decades change, and the horror movies change with them.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, another movie that spawned a large franchise, Screams 1 through 4, as well as a TV series.
Yeah, it'll be fun to look at. I haven't seen this one. I think this is the only one left of the films that I haven't watched yet.
And it's my last pick because after Scream, I'm done with my 3, and then we're going to move on to Blair Witch Project and Hereditary, both of which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming. We will. I'm kind of looking at the calendar here, and we'll be wrapping this up right before Thanksgiving. So
beautiful. Yeah, that's perfect.
Smack on time. Get the whole family around, and watch some of these movies. It's never too late.
Perfect.
Anything else you'd like to plug, Matt?
Not really. I'm looking forward to getting into the 90s movies a lot. I'm really, really, really looking forward to talking about Hereditary with you. I would love to see your ideas about this movie.
And I know nothing about it, which is exciting.
Oh, man. Get ready for that one. Especially from what I've gathered, what I've kind of garnered from the years we've spent on this show with you as a co-host is that you don't really like, not that you don't like surprises, but that there are some times where surprises will like really, really get to you. And Hereditary, the third act of that movie is such a surprise. I just can't wait. I can't wait to talk to you about it.
The thing with me and twist movies is it only...
I won't say anything
no,
more.
And you shouldn't, but I'll just say that twists bother me when I see them coming. And I'm not to claim I'm super smart or anything, because that's not the point, but I usually tend to see them coming just because I am sort of a movie TV nerd and I get how things are made and why they pointed out that thing for no reason in the first act so they could bring it back in the third act type stuff. So if I don't see it coming, then that'll be exciting for me. Those are the kind of twists I like.
I definitely, I would be surprised if you saw this one.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at
if you figured this one out before the third act, before things really take off. I would be very surprised. But anyway, that's 2-3 movies from now.
Yeah,
so
we got a couple weeks to go. I haven't watched any modern horror movies. So I understand the popularity and the sort of style of it, but it'll all be new to me. All the rest of our movies will be. So I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you come back next week for Scream. We appreciate you joining us, of course. Before I get to our stuff, I got to do a little cross promotion here. Don't Panic is still happening. We published an awesome episode this week. Dan was unable to join us. He was somewhere. So Colby and I handled it, and we talked about a lot of stuff, including, and Matt, you know this as a former resident of the Northeast, how important it is to have a good selection of jackets.
Yeah.
For all weather.
Crucial.
And you have to have it before the season arrives. You don't want to buy it during the season.
Yeah, I would say that is tantamount, imperative. All other words that mean that you have to do it. That's very, very important. Super important to do to survival in the North.
Yeah, we break that down, and we talk on the tech news side. We talk about Facebook's new logo. Did you see this, Matt?
No. Facebook has a new logo?
Well, they do for the company. Like, the logo in the app will stay the same, but, like, the company that owns it has a new logo, but it's literally just Facebook in all caps, in, like, the lamest font you've ever seen.
All right, I'm Googling it now.
It should come right up. Facebook new logo, and it'll come right up for you. It is bland.
That's horrible.
Yes, but it's all caps, so it's, Facebook,
It sucks.
Get excited.
That's their logo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's not going to be that F anymore?
No, so it will be. So what it is it's like, because Facebook owns a bunch of they own Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus, and so it's all going to be, that logo will be the overarching company. The Facebook social network will still keep its old blue logo, but now it's like Instagram by Facebook. And that logo will be there. WhatsApp by Facebook, and that logo will be there. That's what that's for.
That logo sucks.
It does suck. And this is the kind of great, terrible information you could be learning on Don't Panic. So go check out the episode. It's on the feed right now. Don'tPanic.io, or search wherever you get podcasts for Don't Panic. And get up to speed on what's going on in tech. We had a lot of great stories, including we talk about HBO Max, which will be streaming some of the movies that we're talking about. So a lot of good stuff on there. This show is up for debate at upfordebate.tv. Go there. All the past episodes are there. Check out The Exorcist and Friday the 13th before this if you haven't already. And, of course, subscribe to get Scream and the rest of the movies wherever you get podcasts. Overcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. We're everywhere. You can also get the video version on YouTube. And, of course, you can talk with us. We'd love you to tweet at us at UpForDebateTV if you agree or disagree with our opinions, or email us upfordebatetv@gmail.com. That is going to wrap it up for us here. We will be back next week with more spooky movies. But until then, on behalf of Matt, I am Sean. Thanks so much for watching. Safe dreams. Bitch. No, okay. I can't end like that. We'll see you next time.